Good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament 2016 round of 8. This broadcast we have two matches, namely Bereaver on the Royal Road to a victory against Simp by Thomas Weider, the good old carrier bot. Who will win that? It's about to be found out. And then the second match of this broadcast, it's Crazio versus TSEMU. TSEMU dismantled last year's winners, Killerbot by Marion Diveka with Shuttle and Reaver play. What will the build be versus Terran? We'll find out soon. So, to switch back into the game, we have got a beautiful game on our hands, and we have as the green Protoss we have got Thomas Weider, also known as Ximp. And Ximp is a carrier bot which has been dominant for so long it's hard to imagine, and it's been especially dominant in the elimination stages of major tournaments, and mainly in the elimination stage of our tournament, the Student StarCraft AI Tournament. So that's a lot of tournaments to be dominant in. Of course, Simp hasn't been updated in quite a while, but it has one strategy which it does so very well, and for AIs it is very hard to beat, so it has got a right to be a pretty good competitor still. At the other end of the map we have got Bereaver, and Bereaver is the Protoss revelation of this year's tournament. It marched into the round of 16 unimpeded, and in the round of 16 it killed off B-Bot, another newcomer, so this time it is about to prove how well it will do against one of the old guns, one of the old very good bots, which has been around a long time and has been perfected by its author, Thomas Weider, for many years. Now, Bereaver is about to take the Royal Road, and that means it will have a chance, it still has a chance to win the tournament upon the first time entering it, and that is a designation originating from the OSL on GameNet Star League. It's a tournament for human players, or was a tournament which ran in Korea and was the biggest esports tournament until other games came along, mainly League of Legends and Counter-Strike. So, without further ado, this is what Sim will do in this game: sit back behind a wall of cannons and then quickly place down fleet beacon, build carriers. If we look at Bereaver, Bereaver is building cannons of its own. No StarGates, but gateways and a robotics facility. Perhaps it will go for some Reaver play that might very well work. I think. Oh no, there are some cannons, and I don't think this is accessible. And look at all the cannons Sim is building. It's really awesome. If we look at the army composition, we've got a couple of zealots, a lot of probes, and it's going very heavy on the economy. Building more cannons, more gateways, and now going for Storm and Shuttle Speed, an Observer, High Templar, looking to go, oh, and there we go. So now we've got a couple of carriers, and they are going to snipe a High Templar and cannon, and go for the Templar Archive. Some goons, only 3 goons come to the rescue, and now we are seeing zealots, which will do absolutely nothing against carriers. But at the other end of the map we've got the Reaver, and the Reaver is taking down the third base of Sim, which will mean less minerals to build interceptors, less gas to build new carriers, and the probe took a glancing shot at this Reaver, but I think these zealots will take down the Nexus pretty quickly. Meanwhile, in the base of the Reaver we've got the carriers rampaging, and they are rampaging pretty effectively, killing a goon, killing a cannon, and just taking down a lot of units, while Bereaver taking 4th base, so of course you can lose some units, but these cannons are pretty well placed, so as long as these carriers keep focusing on production here, they can't really let interceptors stray here because they'll get picked off by these cannons. And now still more zealots, that's not really one goon, lots of zealots, and nothing else to engage the interceptors or carriers. Meanwhile, more carriers arriving. Sim trying to put down a new base. V-Reaver might be in a bit of a spot because it's got 4 bases, it is mining, it has got a lot of money. Oh, these carriers go off on some wild goose chase after these zealots, I think. No dragoons at all. So this time we've got 4 goons against 7 carriers. That's not a fight you want to get into. V-Reaver frantically trying to rebuild the cannons. More goons on the high ground, a cannon on the high ground, and another cannon here, so that's okay. But still, these carriers are doing pretty well now. 3 extra cannons, and if you group them together with the goons, you might hold off the carriers for a little while. But in the base of Xim, more carriers are being built, although the main has now mined out, and there is no third. There is no third for Xim, and these carriers have been going on a wild zealot chase for a while. And perhaps now all these zealots will get into action, going to plow into the cannons. That will be interesting. Meanwhile, the carriers get distracted. Oh, and that was... No, not very many. Oh yeah, there we go. So now the zealots are getting exchanged for 3 cannons, then thinking better of it. Losing a couple to the carriers. These carriers here are facing increasing new numbers and the storms, so ooh, those storms, they are damaging interceptors pretty badly. Some carriers are getting low and the storm hits all the carriers. That's pretty good. Now the cannons are up again, but the goons are off fighting new carriers. But if you look at the supplies, V-Reaver is nearly maxed while Xim is only at about 100. Another base, but it is a base of V-Reavers, and V-Reaver is holding itself pretty well against the might of Xim with the carriers. And these 2 carriers are getting very, very low. They have very few interceptors. These goons, with now the +1 armor upgrade as well, they can hold on pretty strong. 1 carrier dies, and the other one will die as well. So now it's a big problem for Xim, because there is no more money, and there is an entire army of goons knocking down the cannons. Storms on the Nexus, cruel, cruel trick. V-Reaver meanwhile taking all the bases in the map because it's got so much money, and well, it's not really maxed at this point. Cannon placement a little bit off, but this is a dominating performance against one of the best bots on StarCraft AI scene. And as we see, the last bit of the natural is being torn down by these goons and zealots with +2/+2. At the back of the base, we see more of the same, more gateway units. If you look at the composition, we've got 88 probes, that's quite a lot. That's enough to be going on with, I'd say. 15 goons, 2 Dark Templars, a couple of High Templars, Reaver Observer Shuttle, and 30 cannons. All in all, pretty pro, and I think that these carriers without minerals are going to have a bit of a problem building interceptors at all. Although they might have just enough to take down these cannons, but with the goons in the back, 1 carrier going down, and that was, well, we've got 1 interceptor left at this point. That's too bad, so the goons storm up. Oh, and the Reaver has made as well. Goons and Reaver and the Dark Templar and Zealots and High Templars are moving into the base. Oh, and that's just the Reaver taking all of the maps. Look at the money. It's mining so very quickly with 88 probes, a relatively small army, and it has switched back from Zealots to Goons. So taking down Xim in... Oh, another shuttle gets brought along with a Reaver gets dropped by shuttle. And that's the GG. V-Reaver taking the first game in the round of 8 versus none other than Xim. And that is, if I may say so, pretty impressive. So, without further much ado to abuse an expression of autosis, let's hop into game number 2. You won't need to spend much time on Xim because Xim last game went for carriers. It has been going for carriers ever since it. Oh, for years. I don't know if it's been doing so from the start, but it has been building carriers for years and quite effective with it, because we have seen it in the final last year after not having been updated for 3 years before that, and that is quite a feat. I'll recap shortly if we see some more carriers why they are so difficult to combat for AIs. Meanwhile, let's have a look at V-Reaver. V-Reaver going for gateways, this time only building 2 zealots, and then going for a cyber core, going pretty heavy on the eco. Xim, of course, sitting back behind the cannons, killing off the first zealot, and that leaves B Reaver with a song in his heart and only one or again two zealots on the battlefield. So building a goon first and goon range. Perhaps it's got an inkling of what's going to come, and that would be interesting to combat that with a Reaver and an observatory. But let's find out what it will all be about. And Xin going for Stargates, and when Stargates are done you can pop down a fleet beacon. So there it goes. Meanwhile, lots of cannons will take a huge gateway army to break through here, giving yourself a lot of time to build carriers, and a third base with the cannons. And I don't really know that these cannons versus carriers are very well placed. You need more carriers and some room to build goons as well, but of course these are AIs, these are robots playing the most beautiful game in the world, which has just turned 19 years old, I believe, because Brood War was released in 1898. 89, that's was another different story, but it's almost 20 years old, and that's just Brood War. StarCraft is a little bit older still, but there we go. A couple of cannons, some cannons in the main, and lots of gateways. And this time we see 5 goons, 13 zealots, lots of zealots, and again the third base gets sniped by B Reaver, putting it in an excellent position, because last game we saw the carriers getting well, not really reaching their full potential because there wasn't enough money, not enough interceptors could be built, not enough carriers could be replaced, because B Reaver is so very aggressive in taking the entire map. And look at this. This is a lot of pylons and gateways, and soon, oh, there we go. So now the battle is on, and this pylon is beautifully placed because the goons can't get enough surface areas, and 5 cannons go down, 6, 7 go down, and then the cannons get a beautiful concave. We've got a High Templar and a Storm, but it's not really enough. Should tear down this pylon, and all the zealots died, so the unit composition improved. Still, there are now 12 goons against a lot of carriers, and look at this interceptor tagging along with the carriers. But if you do spot the carriers, you should do something about it. Lock down a lot of cannons or move the goons up there, which is not happening at this moment. That's a pity. Meanwhile, more gateways. How many have got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11. 11 gateways. That's quite a lot. Now the goons are attacking the carriers, and the goons are in pretty big numbers. But of course, you've got a good cliffing situation on this map. You can, as a carrier, hover over the water or hover over a cliff and take on more goons. The goons appear to have a bit of a problem because, and now I'll talk about the carriers. The goons get confused because they need to take down threats, that being these interceptors. But these interceptors are flying around like a flock of, or a swarm of starlings. Oh, one carrier goes down. The goons do appear to be getting the upper hand. The goons, they can't reach the carriers because the carriers, they can attack and then move back a little bit, and these interceptors can still hover over there. So carriers can be quite effective. Now taking down another cannon. If we look at the kill numbers, we can't see 2 there. And oh, another attack on main, 2 there, 5 there. Another attack coming up, but now with the High Templars and the goons with this pylon in front. The army can't really attack all these cannons, and as soon as the zealots reach this front line of cannons, all these cannons start firing as well. Of course, the High Templars aren't doing anything against cannons, and it's highly due to it's not a good choice to storm cannons. Storm the carriers. The carriers are losing lots and lots of hit points. And the interceptors, well, the interceptors are all here, so they're not getting targeted at all. Carriers getting low on HP, but I think in the end the goon numbers are getting down, and there is no 4th base for B Reaver, which there should be, but has been torn down by these carriers here. Meanwhile, 3rd base up now for Xin, and I think that's going to be the deciding factor, because Xin can fight so efficiently with the cannons against the ground troops, and with the carriers versus anything else. That said, main is mined out, and the main is mined out here as well. The natural will be mined out soon, so it will be 1 versus 1 base. And of course this 4th base, but the 4th base needs to be protected, and these 2 carriers have been pestering goons here since forever. And is that a music, or did I just turn it off? I just turned it off. Let's put it back on, because it adds a little bit of atmosphere. These carriers have been so effective with only 29 HP and 7 shields, very low interceptor numbers, but these goons just haven't been able to get... Oh, there's another group of carriers here. Now Ximp is really getting into its stride. The Reaver could be dropped any moment. Small strike force, but the cannon body is too big. And Zealots without support of the goons. It's only attacked in single file. One cannon goes down, another. Still there are about 8 cannons, more will be built. Now the Reaver plops out, killing a handful of probes, but in the end it's not really going to be enough. We've got 4 carriers here, and these 2 carriers here are still alive. 11 kills in this one, and the other one has got 6, so 17 kills between them, and most of those are goons or buildings, and that's very cost effective. Now the natural's mining out for B Reaver, the fourth is up. But just in time, Xim sees it with the group of carriers and moving in. Third base of Xim's is under attack, but the cannons just repel it. High Templar dies, and although the Reaver gets some kills in, fourth base of Xim will soon be up. These Zealots could shut it down, not really sure they're going to. Fourth base again in ashes. These 2 carriers really are winning the day for Xim at this moment. B-Reaver can't be everywhere at once. It's trying to build goons as fast as it can, but in the end I don't think it's fast enough. There are just too many High Templars and they are not being used effectively. Fourth base of Tim does get shut down, and another fourth base for B-Reaver. Cannon placement is something of an issue. Meanwhile, these carriers here, this group of 4, I believe, are doing just so much damage. These goons don't stand a chance. They get confused by the interceptors and just too many carriers. Oh no, that was something else would have died. So we've got 4 carriers and they're just punishing the defenses of B-Reaver now with only 2 goons, 1 Archon, and that's just not going to be enough. Lots of eco, and this carrier... Oh no, that was a Reaver here, but it gets shut down by these 2 carriers. They took a lot of damage from this High Templar attack. One High Templar here, I don't know what's going to do. Can't seem to make up its mind. These carriers here now go to town on main base and production facilities. Boom dies, and if you look at the kill numbers, these carriers at this moment are not being engaged effectively. Morphing Archon in view of 4 carriers is not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. No production capacity here, and 2 carriers take it all down. Putting down the Nexus, killing with a probe here and there, and then you get a huge long distance mining operation. Of course, B-Reaver still has a lot of probes, but in the end, I don't really think it's going to matter. Third base now established for Xim, although there is an Archon and a High Templar, they are not going to get in there, not with all these cannons here. A lot of probes, but the carriers are here, and it looks like this game is going to go to Xim, thus equalizing the series. I can't really call the GG at this point because it would defeat the purpose of the game. Of course, Xim can still crash. I have seen it happen every 1,000 games or so it does, so in case it does, I can't really cut the game short. Cybercore gets rebuilt and stamped to the ground once again. Natural looks like this, another group of carriers hitting on that Nexus, and I think that is about it. This High Templar gathering energy but not really doing anything, and that was that. That was the last pylon. How many carriers have we got? Oh, that's the last pylon. We've got 14 carriers versus 1 pylon, now with an Arbiter. GG, Ximp equalizes. The score in this match is now 1-1. So going into the next match, and the next match is the last one because it's a best of 3. Earlier we saw Martin Royakas beat Bullybot, and we saw Ironbot beat down Triple ZK Bot. Of course, B-Reaver is in a bit of a spot because the first game was really very good. It took down Ximp with the Brilliant Storms and Boom Play. This is a very small map and you haven't really got that many possibilities to expand. It is to the advantage of Ximp, I think, because it can wall off here. we need a lot of gateway units to break through here, and while it's going on, there will be carriers. Oh, and whoa, what's that? This is not good. I don't know what it's all about, but at this point, Riva is spending a huge amount of money. Look at the supplies, 76 to 46 in the advantage of Xim Riva. But these zealots aren't doing anything, and they should be attacking. They should be attacking now, because they should just be able to take it, but they keep marching back and forth for some reason. That's really a pity. Meanwhile, Xim behind this has finished the fleet beacon, going for more Stargates, and as you can see, first of all Stargates and then only then build carriers. Could be a little bit more efficient, perhaps do it off 3 until you get more bases up. But the army of the Reavers is messed up. It's really messed up, and I don't know why. It could, I think, break through these cannons yet, delaying the carriers, or should have delayed the carriers a little bit earlier. Take a third, do something about that. But on 2 bases, you need to take a third fast, make more units, make more goons. And the numbers are just very low, because you've got 21 zealots, only 4 goons, and there are carriers coming, and only already losing units to the cannons for free. Only a little bit of damage on this one. Meanwhile, carriers taking the long way round, and now going after this shuttle with Reaver. Oh, and the Reaver gets dropped now. The carriers are in between the shuttle and the Reaver. That's a bit of a pity, but that's how it goes. And of course, the shuttle is trying to recapture the Reaver. It's not really succeeding at the moment. And there goes the Reaver. And there goes the shuttle. So that's that, as they say. Reaver not taking the 3rd base, that's very late. There is a ground army, and that's the 3rd base of Sims, but we've got 4 carriers, some more coming here. Oh, slow down, boy, because the ground army of Reavers is just messed up, and there is so much possibility of cliffing going around on this map. We've got 4 more carriers, so we've got 8 out on the map, and the goons. Well, the goons are there, but they are not really. They're not really up to it, because they get cliffed and they get killed from the rear, from the front. Oh, and that was an attack on these cannons. They do a lot of damage, but now the push runs out, loses force, and there are 8 carriers around, although these ones don't need to be fully willing to get into the fight. But these 2 carriers are tough enough to handle a lot of units. So yeah, that's that. And the carriers don't even die. They take a bit of damage, but it's okay. So now we've got 9 carriers versus a small ground army of Reavers. Xim taking a 3rd base. Reaver at this point refusing, so that's going to be a bit of a problem, as the main is basically mined out. Natural will be soon too. And if you look at the supplies, Reaver is about 5 up or 10 up, but with all these carriers and, well, how many? We've got 11 goons versus 11 carriers, and now the carriers are in the main base, and I think that was the cyber war trying to build in this position, which is not good, because there are 4 carriers immediately over it, and they are quite disposed to killing off cyber wars as soon as they finish with goons. So the goons run out, only 10 left. And now it's 10 goons versus 9 carriers. The carriers have free reign. All the goons dropping piecemeal and drop like flies. Meanwhile, the main army of Reavers has been killed. And where are all the carriers? A couple here, and I think there are now about 8 here. And they're going to town on production, but the naturals mined out as well. So this is a bit of a pity. The first game went to Reaver, and that is quite a feat. This game appears not to be going so well, and that is a pity, because the second game Sim won it by very decent play, and this game Reaver just failed to live up to the expectations set in the first game with the expansion, with the good macro, and it seems like it needs a big map and lots of room to Reaver to take down carriers. This time it it failed because it's trying to retake the main, and the main is mined out. It won't really work. A bit of a storm on the interceptors, but by now this is not really working, is it? Because there is no more nexus. You can't really long distance mine if you haven't got the nexus. Now these probes will return, but before they will reach the base will be dead. And Xim behind this is just sitting back, building another pylon, so not really expanding either. The carriers are doing their work. We've got 14 now, just taking the main base to pieces, every unit, every building. And it looks like that, Xim will move on to the round of 4. Congratulations. Moving on quickly with the next match, not before congratulating the Reaver on making it into the round of 8 on the first try. That is quite impressive. But the next game has really got me stoked because it is Crazio, the Terran from Bulgaria, which has been with us for such a long time. Krasimir Krastav has been updating that mod for so long and it's grown very, very good. At the other end of the map, we've got TSCMU, and TSCMU for this tournament sent in his Protoss. Of course, there is the Zerg, which is brilliant, the only one who uses defilers as of yet. And the Terran, the only one which moves with a vengeance and a passion. But this time it's the Protoss which has been fielded from Norway, and last game I saw of it, it was against last year's winner Killerbot, which it dismantled with Reaver shuttle play, and that was pretty good for an AI, and even for human standards I really liked it. It was a beautiful thing to see. Now Crazio, of course, is no Zerg. You've got the siege tank and you've got the Goliath, and Crazio will be building lots and lots of those, and perhaps some turrets as well. We're getting the first one, and there is one here as well. Pretty nicely built to protect a lot of area, cover a lot of area. And let's see what we've got. We have got a scout. And I don't really like to say oh my god, but oh my god. What the bloody hell is going on? Because there is one build with Dark Templars and Scouts, it's called the Stove, but otherwise Scouts are just crazy, but Crazio is not really mining at the natural anymore, and TSCMU is taking the entire map, building another StarCraft and building more Scouts. So if it can keep the Scouts alive, it's going to be in a pretty good position because there are only 2 cannons at this turret. Oh, no, there are more turrets. And I think the lights will pop soon. These scouts are not really the fastest units. One died already, and between the cannons and these couple of Goliaths, I don't think there is going to be a long life for these scouts. Crazio, meanwhile, taking a third. He used to sit back on 2 bases for a very long time. Oh, and this scout can have a bit of a field day with the third. Third has been shut down before it even started. And TSCMU is taking map control, slow down, taking map control with a couple of scouts and the Goon. The Goon, of course, is doing all the damage, but the scouts are keeping the vultures absolutely crazy. Now, what are we seeing? Goon range, not so many units being produced at all. 4th base up, and the 3rd base now secured by Crazio by the Goliath, so that's okay. It will be interesting to see what TSCMU is going to transition in now. Crazio going for a mech army in supply, a little bit up, and that's mainly because TSCMU has been attacking like a madman, now building a citadel, and an observatory, and a Reaver, and a fleet beacon, and another Reaver, and not really many units. Units, so to speak, not many rank and file gateway units to keep the Terran mech push, which is coming, and this is a small advanced guard of that at bay. Meanwhile, oh, that's a pity. We've got a Reaver in the shuttle, and a Reaver in the shuttle with only 2 HP and 0 shields makes it out of there. And that's a bit of the difference between a Zerg and a Terran, because the Terran's got that siege tank range, which is huge, and then you've got the Goliaths with the range upgrade, which do pretty decent damage against anything flying. So that will be a problem as for a playstyle to play against. And of course you've got to take into consideration That wall here you can't really shoot as a Reaver if you are facing a wall. But now they are making way across the wall. Crazio taking up a position here. We've got a couple of goons in mineral line. Fifth base by TSMU operational. If you look at the unit composition, it's absolutely wacky. It's only 45 probes, 13 zealots, 8 goons, 2 reavers, 2 observers, 3 shuttles and 14 cannons. And soon to be 2 arbiters and 1 more scout. And I can't really see this work because you can't really get in there because there are too many turrets. You can't really use your reavers because there are too many Goliaths and siege tanks which will outrange you, and you haven't got enough units to... Oh, that's a nice hit. No, that's not working. Ooh, nice snipe on one vulture, but in the big picture of things, Crazio is putting ahead in supply, and its army is just so much sturdier than the Protos's. The Protoss army is mainly composed of wacky units, and I'm interested to see what these arbiters are going to do, but this is just a page from the book Ridiculous, as read to you by TSU. Now the mech push arrives in the natural, and it looks like this. A couple of Marines die, a couple of Vultures die, but in the grand scheme of things, it looks like a massacre, and it is a massacre. If you look at the supply, Crazio Max, TSU 150, but dropping, steadily dropping, and this shuttle dies, TSU dropping like a fly. The main base, this must be the most stasis units I've ever seen in an AI game. Unfortunately, the Zeds now can't reach the Terran army. And the Terran army with a max push of these mech units with +2/+2 tearing into the main base of TSU. So unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Meanwhile, Crazio with another base and a silo. Let's keep an eye on that. Perhaps we'll get to see a new. And that was the natural and the main. TSU frantically trying to rebuild, but there are not enough fighting units, and I think that's going to be a problem because there is a max mech army. And if you had a couple of stasis, you could hold off this army here forever. Unfortunately, there are 4 scouts, no arbiters, 1 Reaver, 10 zealots, and this Reaver is dead. So yeah, pardon me for speeding up, but it doesn't look like TSU is finding an answer to this problem that Crazio's mech push is posing at the moment. There was a lot of cute harassment going on, but in the end there is just not much fighting force. Oh dear, that was Mr. Scout's action. We've got 0 kills there. We've got 1 kill here, but all in all this is about 600 to 300 worth of resources, basically not doing anything. Well, Crazio with the mech army with the +3/+3 now is moving into, I don't know, the 4th or 5th, and tearing down another base, which TSU has needed rebuilt, but there isn't really a strategy for dealing with mech armies, and that's costing TSU the first game. Crazio looks about to win the first game in the round of 8 and says GG, well played. That could be argued, but let's not, and move on to the next game, because this is the round of 8, the second broadcast, and we've got a brilliant game on our hands of TSMU versus Crazio. TSMU last time tried it with scouts, arbiters, and reavers. Basically no gateway units to speak of. Crazio just sitting back, making a huge mech army and pushing down the throat of the enemy. That sounded wrong, but of course it's mature. I'll try to mind my words, I didn't mean that. So, TSMU is trying to recover in this best of 3, now 1 game down, and that means that if he loses this game he will be out of the tournament and Crazio will move on to the round of 4. That said, Citadel of Adun and no scouts to be seen yet. Very fast natural again. Crazio with fast natural as well, and going for some tech and the first factory. TSMU going, I think, will this be some kind of Dark Templar play? Yep, we've got 1, 2, 3 DTs coming. And I think this is about next to be hatched. The DTs, however, are hovering about, and knowing Grazio, he is damnedly fine because he's got 1 comset, 1 scan, this one not quite ready yet. He's also got the turret and the tank, and the bunker with machines and another tank. So I doubt that these DTs will be able to make it in. And it gets scanned as soon as it moves into range. That's unfortunate, losing all its shields at once. But TSU now taking a third, so perhaps this time being more aggressive with the gateway units. 2 forges at the natural. This vulture with 1 kill, 2 kills already. More gateways, and I think, well, again, not really many armies, not really many troops. Goliaths and tanks will have a field day with all these high-tech units, and this is a recall and an arbiter. So, oh my god, is this going to be the first ever recall in a televised match of AI Brood War? Let's hope so, because it's going to be awesome, and if anyone's going to be able to pull it off, it will be TSU. Meanwhile, Grazio sitting back took a third, which is very good, because if you are on 3 bases versus 3 bases as a Terran, you're doing something right. Of course, TSU has got 3 Dark Templars, an Arbiter, 2 Goons, and 12 Zealots, and I don't really know what it's going to do about these mech units, because TSU is harassing a lot, now taking a few free shots at this eBay, but in the end, oh, now we've got the Arbiter energy not really ready yet, and there's 1 turret and some more in the main. Let's keep an eye on that until it reaches 150 energy. TSU in the meanwhile, let's pick it up again now, hovering over the base. TSU taking yet another base, bringing Observer to kill the spider miner. As you can see, Grazio mining up all the bases. That was pretty pro by TSU. Finally, there is a bot which has as a strategy against this mining of, oh, that's a pity, mining of expansions, but TSU has not got the units to fight effectively. Now this Arbiter has got the energy for a recall, but where will it recall to? And this Arbiter is doing something. 2 hasn't got the energy yet. Could recall here because there are only 2 Marines, now 1 Goliath, but could still recall on top of that. TSU meanwhile camping in the middle of the base with a lot of supply of Goons and Zealots with upgrades, but I don't really see that TSU is going to fight. These units are brilliant for harass. Oh, the carrier with the energy it died. That's a major pity. And this one hasn't got the energy yet. We'll have soon. We'll have to keep an eye on that, because I wouldn't want to miss the first recall ever. Grazio meanwhile building more and more units. Supply wise, Grazio is at 20 supply deficit. TSU took the 4th. Lots of cannons, it's very well done. Grazio with the drop, but it gets shut down by the cannons. This Arbiter is finding no room to recall. It's a huge Protoss army, but it's not fighting. The only thing that happens is that in and out of it, reducing hit points, shields, and units to siege tanks. Oh, and the supply, the energy is there. So now I've got to slow it down, I think, because you could still recall in here. The major problem would be to group a lot of units to actually recall. Or would it be here, because we've got 1 carrier here and the other one hasn't got the energy yet. Now moving in, no, not really, because there is a turret and you can see it edging around at the edges of the range of that turret, now being driven towards the right further by this Marine and dancing like a madman. And recall! Let's see if my breath holds, but I don't really know. There is a grouping of units here. Will it be for a recall? Yo! I got it! I've got the first recall, and now the Zealots are going to town on the SCV and the siege tank. Unfortunately, there is a contingent of Goliaths and Vultures too, and as you can see, these units will have nothing to do with the actual fighting anymore, as earlier they only want to kill buildings and SCVs. That's very brave. Crazio, meanwhile, has taken it upon himself to, with a small expeditionary force, kill all the probes which are being transferred. Oh, the Reaver with a lot of kills, but meanwhile blocking axes of the Zealots, and oh, that's a lot of kills, but then gets sniped by the siege tank. These Arbiters now could take down the siege tank, but again they are trying to be cute and do all kinds of things, but they are not fighting, and frankly that's the main flaw with TSU and this strategy. There are all kinds of brilliant things going on, and the macro is top notch, because if you take this many bases versus Terran, you could very well just A-move things from gateways and be victorious. Unfortunately, nothing is attacking. These units are standing over here. The Arbiters are convening over here. They could fire. Oh, goes locked down, and one carrier goes locked down. 2 science vessels, stasis, but no actual fighting, and as you can see, Crazio has now overtaken TSU in supply, despite TSU having the entire map with so much production capabilities and only one gateway at each base. These gateways are under huge pressure by this main army of Crazios, which is now entirely stasis. But in the end, I think that these Arbiters can't really get in there because there are too many Goliaths, and the Goliaths eventually will kill them. Gateway units now finally fight, but there are only 5, and there are a lot of siege tanks here, so that's not really working, is it? Crazio, meanwhile, going for a lot of turrets, and some more in case there is an Arbiter coming from the right side of the map. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but now the natural TSU is under attack again, like in last game, and it doesn't really look like it's going to work. Some random depots in the middle of the map. We've got this shuttle which is doing God knows what here. Crazio going for the throat with the maxed army, and that was the natural. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, and lots of stasis going off, but the stasis haven't really been known to kill units, so that's a bit of a waste. And meanwhile, these gateway units, well, you would like to pop out of a gateway if there's such a mech army with the +2/+2 upgrades coming at you. The Arbiters are still there, they are moving back and forth, but no fighting is going on. That's the major flaw of TSU at this point. It's all kinds of cute, and it uses all the spells. It's been very effective with it, but at the end of the day, you need to kill the enemy, and that's the only thing, the only small thing which at this moment is lacking from TSU's build order. So Crazio appears to be poised to move into the round of 8. And that's quite a feat, because it's been a while since Crazio had a major tournament success. Of course, he has been working so hard this year, pushing updates nearly every week. I really think he deserves a chance in the semi-finals and perhaps the finals if he makes that. And I'd be surprised to see him not doing very well there, because this bot is just so very robust and stable. It never ever crashes anymore, it doesn't time out anymore, and this mech push with all the upgrades, with the SCVs and with all the turrets, we've got 80, we've almost got 80 turrets, so something is killing turrets, that's not good, because we want to see 100 turrets or so. Where are all the, oh, here are, hello, that's a lot of turrets. Now building a science facility and a nuclear silo, but of course as there's no supply free and all the money is going into turrets, I don't think we're going to see anything like that anytime soon. Hello. Can you say turret? Of course these shuttles, and with a Reaver, these shuttles are obnoxious, but in the end, I don't think that this one Reaver will stand in the tide. Oh, and one tank has been moved back, kills it all. And that was something, I think another Reaver from this shuttle, and it's dead now too. So look at all the turrets, it's just absolutely crazy. Crazio can't even get up the ramp for all the units he's brought in that one big push. Now this base has just been claimed and already populated with so many turrets. No nuclear missiles, that's a bit of a waste, but hey, what can you say? Crazio being very solid, just popping down some more turrets for good measure. And have we got anything in the arsenal of TSC moves? What have we got? We've got a couple of zealots which are somewhere, I think here. Zealots, goons, arbiter, and a couple of cannons, but the mech army of Grazios is relentless. Nope, won't get off on another shot. TSC just way too cute with all the high-tech units. And if you want to be successful in the latter stages of a major tournament, you got to do something about this kind of army, which is not done by being cute. Now, of course, TSU has been working very hard, not on his bot, but on Open War, which aims to emulate the game like Open Roller Coaster Tycoon or Open Red Alert 2. You'll need the original game files for the graphics and the sound, but all the mechanics are being duplicated, and that means you can also play games on Linux or in parallel, or just play them very, very fast. And if you're doing some kind of machine learning, for which you need lots and lots, say thousands, tens of thousands of games, you're going to need that. So that's a gargantuan effort for one man to code, and TSU is doing a pretty good job at it. I think together with Shield Battery, that's one of the most interesting feats being accomplished for Room Rule these days. And he's also participating in the MIT tournament for Battle Code, which is another real-time strategy, mainly for students. Last time he got third or second place or something, but didn't win any prize money because he wasn't a student. That's very cruel in my opinion. Of course, if you're playing our tournament for StarCraft, you can participate as a student. You can also win prizes. Of course, there is no money involved here because we haven't got the sponsorships that MIT can procure. But TSU is a very versatile man, and if you go to our website, you can download his bots, play against them. It's a lot of fun, and you can also download all of the other bots you have been seeing here these days. And Crazier now with 129 turrets. This is absolutely insane. When will it stop? I don't think anytime soon, because he's building 130. 1, 2, 3. It's just Crazio's keeping the money of all the bases on the map down with building turrets. And it's not like a turret heart or something. It's just impregnable at this moment. No, nothing being built here, but it's just one big mess of turrets. And Crazio moving up to the round of 8. Crazio, I think, unless you time out and crash now, congratulations, you really deserve it. I'm looking forward to see how you're going to go up against Sim, which has such a good carrier strategy. For now, this was the round of 8 of the Student StarCraft AI tournament. We saw move up to the round 4, Peterbot, Ironbot, Sim, and this bot, Crazio. So thank you for watching. Visit our website, watch more games, learn to play against these bots, learn to code these bots, and for now I thank you for watching and wish you a good night. We'll be back. Goodbye.